that cable car.
Nice work, sir.
Thank you, Sergeant.
I guess that winds up the Levinson case.
Push the seat back a little, will you? It's a lot better.
If I were you, Commissioner, I'd spend the evening in a hot tub.
A good idea if I can talk 6 people into climbing in with me. Gotta make a seance.
You're going to a seance tonight, sir?
Afraid so.
Well, don't be afraid. I've been. They're a little spooky, sure, but it's worth it considering the information you pick up.
Information you pick up?
Yeah. What's the name of your seer, sir?
Not my seer, it's the seer of a friend. A very dear friend has just been told her husband is coming back from the dead.
From the dead? That's quite a trick.
Yeah. That's why I want to be there.
We are here among the dead, waiting for you who are out there in the great beyond to communicate with us. We ask that you make your presence known. Ours is a distinguished group here tonight. Commissioner of Police Stuart McMillan and his lovely wife. Magician Harry Hastings, known professionally as the Great Mandini, who last week here at this table heard the spirit of Arthur Kendall speak to us. The gracious and beautiful Nora Dane. And most important of all, Arthur asked that his beloved wife Evie be here with us, and she is. Evie Kendall is here and waiting, accompanied by her doctor, Eli Spake. Join hands, please.
Well, old Gabriel's apparently putting in an appearance tonight. Now, that's her best trick. From here on, it's usually downhill.
I feel the presence of Arthur Kendall. Arthur is trying to get through. Arthur, we know you are here. We ask you to join us in our circle of love.
Evie. Evie! Evie! Oh, Evie. Oh, Evie. Why? Why did you kill me? Why did you murder me?
Evie, now listen to me. Listen to me, Evie. It's all right. Now, come on, I'll take you home.
Sally, come with me, please.
Are you coming, Nora?
No, I'd just be in the way, but please tell her again how awful I feel. God, to lose your husband's bad enough, but to have him called from the dead. I should know. Mine called from Hong Kong last night to tell me that the alimony'd be late again.
Oh, well, at least it was a friendly call. Nora, will you tell Mac that I went with Evie?
Madam Zara, would you mind telling me how this trick was done?
I most certainly would mind. Do you think I shake like this after a trick? A cheap trick. It's true. I do sometimes resort to tricks. I can command this trumpet to float in midair. But, Commissioner, what you have just seen was a true visitation.
Sally wanted you to know she went with Evie.
Okay, thanks, Nora.
Admit, I wonder why I was chosen myself. Why he picked me for one of the great psychic experiences. Obviously, there is a purity about me that even I hadn't recognized. But I was ready. And what you saw was a true miracle from the grave, an anguished soul pointing an accusing finger at the person who murdered him. I think I'm going to give up the trumpet.
Yes, ma'am. Harry.
I don't know, Mac. I don't know how she did it. I've checked every wall and every baseboard, and I don't know. I know she's a first-class fraud, but last week I heard him, and tonight I saw him.
How dare you, Harry Hastings? I have seen many of your tricks, but I have always remained polite. And now tonight, you see a true visitation, and you can't even be gracious about it. You are riddled with jealousy. But I take that as a supreme compliment.
Then I trust you'll take it as a supreme compliment if I call the bunco squad to go over this room.
I am deeply honored.
I didn't kill him. I didn't kill him.
Of course you didn't, Evie. We all know that.
And why did he say it? Why?
We don't know that it was Arthur.
Mac doesn't believe in ghosts. I don't either.
Look, she really should be resting now.
No.
Evie, you're going to take a sedative. You've got to rest.
No, not yet. I want to tell Mac and Sally everything.
That can wait till tomorrow.
No, now. Mac, you and Sally remember this little item? A memento of my suicide attempt 2 years ago.
I don't think that now is the time to discuss it. Eli's right. Let's wait till tomorrow. Good night's sleep.
I'm not discussing suicide. I'm talking about this razor. After I tried to use it, Arthur hid it. I never knew where.
That's right. Then, maybe a month ago.
I'm telling this, Eli. A month ago today, I found it lying open on my dressing room table. And only a week later, I opened a closet door and found a suit of Arthur's clothes hanging there, caked with blood.
Darling, must you?
Yes, I must. And yesterday, an oil portrait of Arthur that had been put away in storage. Come with me, please. It suddenly reappeared. There on the wall. When the maid saw it, she quit. I stood here staring up at it and remembered the day that I tried to quit. That was the worst fight that Arthur and I ever had. The very next night, he called from our cabin in the mountains and asked me to join him there. But I didn't. No, I didn't. I wasn't the one that fired that gun. I never went.
Evie, you were proven innocent.
Yes. Yes, you did that for me.
No, a jury did.
Evie, you've been through more than enough for one night. Now, please, take a sedative now.
No. No.
Evie, what is it?
Smells like tobacco smoke.
It was my last birthday present to him. Why is this happening? Why?
That's why we're here, Evie. Find out why.
And Mac will, Evie.
It's Arthur. It's Arthur. Find him, please. He's got to be here. He is here. I can feel his presence. He's in this room right now. Show yourself, Arthur. Show yourself, Arthur.
Ghost giving me the willies. My grandmother used to live in a haunted house. I was a little girl at the time.
Your grandmother used to live in a haunted house?
Mm-hmm, was all she could afford.
Did you ever see any ghosts?
Oh, sure, I saw them. But I never heard one talk like you two did last night. Arthur Kendall talked, wow.
He talked.
Somebody talked.
But what did he sound like with his head shot off?
She's got a point there, you know that?
I mean, that poor man up there in the mountains trying to get a little rest. He opens the door and there stands somebody with a shotgun. What do I mean, somebody? If he said his wife killed him, she did. And that's why his poor ghost is earthbound. No one will believe him.
Mildred, Evie did not kill him.
Oh, I know she's one of your closest friends, Mrs. McMillan. But if Arthur said she did it, she did it. Oh, would you like a little coffee?
Thank you.
Oh, I better get some fresh.
Mac, what if Evie starts thinking like Mildred does? She'll become convinced that she did kill him, and it'll drive her insane. You can't let that happen, Mac. She's counting on you.
I know. The problem is trying to figure out what our friend the ghost is counting on.
We covered every square inch of that seance room, sir. Nothing. Marnie Ellsworth couldn't have been more cooperative.
She's been waiting all her life to be investigated by a bunco squad.
Yeah, well, I also had them check into her past. Always a lot of hocus pocus, but always within the law.
What's that odor?
Oh, oil of cloves, sir. I got a molar that's killing me. Nice smell, huh?
Very nice. There it is.
boy. When Harry Hastings says a man's home is his castle, he isn't kidding.
Hello in there.
Well, now what do we do?
We say open sesame. You see?
Mac, I'm on lower level 2.
I'll go first, Sergeant.
It's wet.
Hello, Mac.
Sergeant Enright, this is the great Mandini.
Sergeant? Well, we're getting the hands in shape, putting together our new show.
Didn't know you gave him any more, Harry.
Well, except on special occasions, I don't. Like the circus, the day of magic, the day of the magician is almost over. Night of the wizard, twilight of the gods, you might say. However, I'm booked into one last grand tour. We're opening tonight at the Club Castile. Toothache, Sergeant?
No, I'm just a little on edge.
Feel better?
It's gone.
Temporary relief. In a few hours, it'll wear off, so I advise you to check with your dentist. Otherwise, I'm in trouble with the ADA. Here, Sergeant, let me show you another. Take a card.
Harry, Enright and I are here to talk about last night.
Mac, what if I were to tell you... What if I were to tell you that I didn't think it was a trick?
Oh, come on, Harry. You don't believe in ghosts any more than I do. You've exposed every case we ever handed you. He's caught more frauds than any man I know. Given expert testimony in court, time and time again. All negative, Harry. No such thing as ghosts. Don't tell me now, after all this, that you're suddenly going to start believing in them.
I know what I saw. Nobody could be more shaken than I.
You can't honestly believe that Arthur Kendall came back from the dead and talked to us.
Mac, please try to understand what all this means to me. I mean, the search to find the supernatural has been the quest of every great magician, and for obvious reason. With all our illusions, tricks, devices, we still secretly want to believe that such a thing does exist, called the true magic, that extra step into the unknown. And last night, after all these years, I witnessed it. I heard it. I saw it. My body, I felt cold, clammy. Because I knew that here it is. The dead can return. And no wizard of legerdemain, myself included, could ever create an illusions so real as the ghost of Arthur Kendall.
The medium sat here, Nora Dane here, and the magician here. Evie Kendall here and Dr. Spake here. Sally and I sat over here. Arthur Kendall appeared about here from my sightline.
We checked, sir, and there was no evidence of projection equipment or mirrors to create the image.
That means the image was created by the presence of a real person.
In the flesh, sir.
These drapes concealed the door through which he obviously came.
But, sir, that door was locked.
It was locked when I tried it. Doesn't mean it was locked when he tried.
Well, Commissioner, conducting your own private seance, I see.
No, just consulting the future, Chapman. Trying to see if the district attorney is ever going to win a case.
That's good, Mac. Very good. Now look into the past and see if you should have won the case of Evie Kendall.
Why? You thinking of putting a ghost up on the witness stand?
I'm dreaming about it. Especially about the part where he testifies to the fact that she killed him.
What's your angle?
Justice isn't an angle, Commissioner.
Why don't you turn that into a bumper sticker? You know that Evie Kendall was acquitted of that murder. And even if she walked into this room right now and confessed, the laws of double jeopardy would prevent you or anyone else from taking legal recourse. So, what's your angle?
Well, let's see. She testified that she took sleeping pills that night. But did she? She could have driven up to that mountain cabin, killed him, and who would have known? If I can prove she lied about that alibi, we've got her on perjury, 1 to 14 years.
Look, Chapman. Evie Kendall is in a very delicate and dangerous state of mind. This is not the time to force her to relive that case with a lot of hard questions.
You and your wife are just too close to her, Max. She could have done it, you know, and a thing like murder shouldn't be allowed to just lie there.
No, it shouldn't, and it should have been solved by now.
It could have been solved by now. Tell me, Mac, what bothers you more? That you saw a ghost? Or that you let a murderess get off scot-free?
How about my specialty?
No, just rub my neck. Did you ever have the feeling you were being used, Sally?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. It's the way I feel. Hello?
Commissioner, I found a report that a lawyer now dead was called upon to draw up a contract of some kind between Arthur Kendall and Harry Hastings.
What kind of a contract?
Well, the deal was never made, sir, so we don't know.
But Harry Hastings does.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Pandora's box. Contrary to legend, Pandora never opened the box, never discovered the contents. Its hideous creatures were never set loose over the countryside. It was taboo, forbidden. And for that reason, in 1704, this lock was placed on it. Through all the long years and the many centuries since then, Pandora's box has remained
Nora, I
closed.
wish Joe would come back.
Shut.
They're divorced. My little romantic, you do know what that means.
I don't want to discuss it.
Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, you are in for a rare and eerie experience. Tonight, this night, for the first time in history, Pandora's box is to be opened.
Scare you?
Great looking. I think Pandora's gonna jump out.
And lying in your lap. You're the one who ordered ringside.
I love it. Mac, he's terrifying those women. I'm not easily frightened, but if I were, well, it'd be enough to drive you batty. You do think it's a little scary, don't you, Mac?
Do you suppose that was the deal?
What?
The deal between Arthur and Harry. To drive Evie out of her mind.
Horrible.
Come in.
Great show, old great Mandini.
Absolutely terrifying. You want to see my goosebumps?
Sally, no.
I could show you a few of my own.
You mean you scare yourself?
Only on opening night.
That Pandora's Box illusion's quite a horror show, Harry.
I hope so.
You always end your act with a number that leaves them screaming?
That's my trade, Mac. It's part of it anyway.
It could scare the wits out of anybody.
I didn't make that deal with Arthur Kendall, Mac. In fact, when he asked me to drop by that afternoon, I assumed that he and Evie were both there, and it was just for a visit. I quickly discovered that he was alone, and...
It's a surprise party, Harry. Evie's birthday. It'll be quite a group, 20, 30 people. Now, just before Evie comes down the stairs, I'm gonna make sure there's a power failure.
Power failure? You're suggesting she come downstairs in the dark?
Well, why not? That's the idea, surprise. But what a surprise. Just before the lights go up, you unleash those squiggly creatures from Pandora's box.
Arthur, are you aware that she's never seen that trick before?
She's never even heard of it. That's what's so great. She won't know what's happening.
Women have been known to faint when I perform that illusion, Arthur. You know that. You know it.
Evie won't faint. Heaven forbid.
No, Arthur. The answer is a definite no.
What do you mean, no? Harry, I'm not asking you to do me a favor. I'm engaging your professional services, standard contract. In fact, now that you mention it...
I didn't mention it.
I'm having one drawn up. Name your price. The lawyer will fill it in.
Good day to you, Arthur.
You're not leaving just yet. What are you trying to pull?
What are you trying to pull, Kendall?
Harry Hastings, the great Mandini, magician extraordinaire, is that it? All right, I'll lay a bundle on you for just one performance.
Including health and welfare, including that?
Harry, you may need health and welfare sooner than you think. You know, magicians aren't exactly in demand these days. Or do you plan to stand on local street corners and pull rabbits from hats in hopes that people will throw pennies at you?
I should have hit him. I wanted to, but I didn't. I simply got out of there. Mac, that's the last time I talked to Arthur Kendall.
Why would he want to scare her like that?
Why? To drive her back to an asylum, of course.
For her money, Sally, that's why he married her.
That's also why he wanted to get rid of her. Imagine thinking about money when you're face to face with a creature as lovely and as fragile as Evie Kendall. She is quite simply the most exquisitely beautiful woman in the world.
Mac, he's in love with Evie. Isn't that nice?
I hope so.
Remember that movie with Charles Boyer?
Yeah, and Ingrid Bergman.
Come back, Mac.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what Arthur was trying to do. Gaslight her.
And what someone's still trying to do. But who now?
Well, now, oh daughter of the great criminologist, who's got the most to gain?
I can't think of anybody but Arthur.
Exactly.
But he's dead.
You sure?
Well, how could he be alive? He couldn't. How?
I'm going to exhume Arthur's body.
Oh, Mac.
And I'll have to get Evie's permission.
Suppose we're wrong.
Don't think I haven't thought of that.
I feel fine. But you obviously have some bad news for me. What is it, Mac?
Not bad news. No, I have a proposal I'd like to make to you, but I don't want it to upset you.
I'm fine, really. Propose.
Evie, has it ever occurred to you that Arthur might still be alive?
Mac, how can you even say that?
Because no one can prove his appearance at the seance was a trick, and I refuse at this late stage of my life to start believing in ghosts.
Mac, do you really think he's alive?
We don't know, of course, Evie.
We have to be sure. There's only one way.
How do you do that?
Exhume the body, and I need your permission.
No, you're taking a terrible risk subjecting her to this.
Eli, please. Mac, if you feel it's the right thing to do, then do it.
Commissioner, I'm sure you're aware that you're dealing with a woman who has a past history of emotional disturbance. Now, during the trial, she transferred her dependence to you, and that's all right. But ideally, since the trial, as her psychiatrist, I should have come to bear some of that responsibility. Well, I didn't. It remains with you. You're the one she counts on. And if you fail her, she's gone. Only this time there won't be any recovery. Now, do I make myself clear?
Yes, you do, Dr. Spig, but there's one thing you don't understand. Sally and I love Evie, too.
Where's Sykes? He went to get the coroner's report.
Did he say anything?
Only that he wanted to tell you himself, though he was smiling.
Commissioner, I've got great news for
Great, let's hear it.
Well, first of all, because of the intervening year, it was impossible to get any fingerprints. Did you get a haircut?
Yeah. Come on, Sykes.
Thought so. Well, then we checked for bone fractures. And there was no discrepancy between the corpse and Arthur Kendall's medical record.
What did you find out?
The dental plates. It so happens that the man who did those plates is a friend of mine. As a matter of fact, he did this bridge. Take a look at that work, will you?
Oh, yeah, it's lovely.
Is that beautiful?
Oh, lovely.
Well, he's a fine man. He's one of the best in the profession. And I talked to him personally.
Sykes, what exactly did he tell you?
A perfect match. No question about it.
About what?
That the corpse is Arthur Kendall.
He's dead?
You bet he's dead.
Thank you, Sykes.
Well, I must say he didn't seem too pleased.
Sykes. He didn't want the body to be Arthur Kendall.
He didn't? Well, nobody told me.
Well, what would you have done about it if they had?
Well, I could have been a little less cheerful.
No.
Are they sure, Mac?
Arthur's dead.
And we're back where we started, aren't we? Oh, Mac. You don't know how I was hoping this would all finally be at an end. That we'd know who it was. I was counting on it.
I was counting on it, too, Evie. I was convinced. Otherwise, I wouldn't put you through all this.
Well, there's nothing to do but go home again, is there?
I'll take you home, Evie. Mac, why don't you pick me up there?
Dr. Spake, please. Commissioner McMillan calling. Hello, Eli? Mac. Yes, we've just had the report. The body is Arthur Kendall's. No, I've already told her. So I'm calling you. Sally's taking her home now, and I think it's a good idea if you were there when they arrived. All right, we can talk about it later.
Excuse me, sir.
Boy, if I was ever set up for one, this is it.
Set up for it?
By a first-class criminal mind, too. He's been ahead of me every step of the way. He knew that seance would terrify Evie, but not enough to drive her insane. Just enough to make her lean on me. A little bit more. He knew I'd exhume the body, which would give her new hope, knowing full well the body was Arthur's. And he knew what that would do to her. Using me to push her right on the edge of madness. Well, if he knows me that well, then I must know him. Well, who is it?
Maybe I better call Dr. Spake.
Here. Your husband called earlier. Thank you for bringing her home, Mrs. McMillan.
I'll just wait downstairs for Mac. My coat and purse right there. That was it. That was the noise. Nothing. The window to the French door's open.
Sally. Sally.
It's the wind. It's just the wind. I know what you're trying to do. If Evie were to come downstairs and see her best friend screaming like a banshee, then it would really drive her mad. What am I talking to? I'm talking to the wind.
Sally!
You're dead! You're dead!
you're to blame for this. You may have destroyed her tonight.
Human mind. It's a primitive fear of the unknown. It's remarkable what it can do to you.
Who could it be?
Fear of the dark.
Motive, motive, motive.
Mildred says you disturbed his grave. She says they don't like that. Mildred also
Sally,
says...
stop thinking about that now. Really.
Right. I'm not going to think about it. I'm not going thinking about it.
Mildred.
Oh, it's you, Commissioner.
Sorry, Mildred. I thought I heard it. The roast beef was very good tonight, wasn't it?
Well, who could eat with all those poltergeists roaming around? Poltergeists. Those are the destructive ones, you know. Want one?
No.
Oh. Want another one?
No, one was enough.
Well, I asked. Good night.
It was Mildred getting ice cubes.
I thought it was Mildred. It was just that I was thinking that... When I was a little girl, I was afraid of the dark. So sometimes my mother left the light on for me.
You want one on now?
Not as long as you're here. Thank you, Mac. I love you too.
This is a Richmond lock. It's identical to the one found on the side door of the medium seance room. To open the door, you turn the lock to the right. You close the door, it locks again. Could you open the door, please? Open it. Yeah, thank you.
Then it was locked from the outside.
That's right.
Whoever impersonated Arthur Kendall at the seance had to have an accomplice on the inside.
That's right.
Anything else?
Yes. We vacuumed the room thoroughly. The lab has analyzed the contents.
And?
Well, we found the usual dust, flakes of phosphorescent paint, and these. Pine needles, caked with mud. Could have been tracked in the bottom of somebody's shoes. It's silver-tip Pacific fir, endemic to high altitudes. Found in mountains all through this region.
There's a grove of them up at Kendall's mountain cabin. All right, let's take a run up there. Thank you, Sykes.
Thank you.
Since you're so busy, Sergeant, you know I don't mind driving.
No, I can handle it, Commissioner. I can handle it.
You should have gotten the number of that dentist that Sykes was recommending so highly.
Well, as a matter of fact, sir, I did.
Oh, good. When's your appointment?
Huh? Oh, it's right about now.
You sure you don't want me to drive?
No, I'm fine, sir. I'm fine. Commissioner, I wish you remember that I'm the one with the gun.
Thank you, Sergeant. I'll try to keep that in mind.
Who do you think it was, sir?
I don't know. Let's go see what he didn't want us to see.
Hello?
Evie. Oh, Evie. This is Arthur. Evie. I must see you. I must see you, Evie.
Where are you?
At the old beach house. Oh, hurry. Hurry to me, Evie.
Yes. Yes, I'll be there.
Enright. Arthur Kendall's tobacco. Special blend.
Well, now we know where he got the stuff to frighten Mrs. Kendall. He being whoever's impersonating Arthur Kendall.
But why? Why smoke it when no one else is around, unless you enjoy it?
Well, you know how it is, sir. You try it.
Right.
You like it. Commissioner? Whoever it was had female company. Take a look.
That's the dress Nora Dane wore the night of the seance.
Then you think that she was the one that opened the door that night?
Now I do.
Well, then Nora's husband, Joe, must be our ghost. She just pretended that he was overseas. Actually, he was here all the time trying to gaslight Mrs. Kendall.
Why? Nora and Joe have nothing to gain if Evie's put away. Only Arthur Kendall, her husband, could get the money.
Well, maybe they made a deal with Arthur Kendall. Well, that's no good. He's dead. This thing really hurts. Who else had a motive? Yeah, that's better. You know, sir, I bet I wind up needing a bridge just like Sykes. It's expensive, too. Because you always have to have two of them made in case you lose one or one gets broken or...
Enright?
Oh, I'm sorry about the odor, sir, but it really helps.
You're a genius.
Well?
Call that dentist.
From here?
Find out if Arthur Kendall had a spare plate made.
That's it. Kendall had a spare, and he stuck it in the corpse's mouth.
And pick up Evie. I want her in protective custody. And put out an APB on Arthur Kendall.
Yes, sir. Boy, an all-points bulletin on a dead man. Wait till they hear this one. Commissioner?
Yeah?
If Arthur Kendall is alive, who's dead?
I'll get the answer to that right now.
Arthur Kendall is dead, Mac. You've got to believe me.
You're lying, Nora. Arthur Kendall is alive, and you're conspiring with him to drive Evie insane.
Oh, Mac, I'm surprised.
Come off it, Nora. School's out.
You don't know what you're saying.
Don't I?
No.
You think an investigation won't prove you and Arthur are having an affair?
Oh, all right. So we had an affair. So what?
So what? Out of that affair came the plan to get Evie's money and take off.
Oh, now you're the one
Of
who's
course,
crazy.
you had to get rid of a husband, and Arthur had to get rid of a wife. It worked out just fine, didn't it?
It isn't.
Get Evie committed! Not too difficult where a man as clever as Arthur is concerned.
Mac, you're wrong.
Am I?
Mm-hmm.
Something went wrong that night at the cabin, didn't it? Your cute little trick backfired, and all of a sudden you're involved in a murder.
Mac, you're wrong. You are dead wrong.
Am I? Why don't we ask Joe? Why don't we call Joe in Hong Kong and ask him? Or maybe we'd be wasting our time because Joe's dead. That is Joe in the coffin, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, that's Joe. Poor dumb Joe. No matter what you think, it started off without wanting anyone dead. It began when Arthur invited Joe and me up to the cabin for the weekend. Joe, he had no idea what was up. He just thought it was fun time.
Then Arthur called Evie and said he was up there.
Yes, that was the plan. When she arrived, I was to say, why, Evie, don't you remember? You phoned me and invited Joe and me to spend the weekend here. Then when she went home, Arthur was going to insist that he hadn't called her at all. He was, at a motel halfway down the mountain, waiting to get the results. But it got late and Joe and I went to bed. Then in the middle of the night, there was a knock on the door, and I told Joe that must be Evie.
Then Arthur planted his own ID on Joe's body. Wristwatch, ring, wallet, and spare dental plate.
Joe's unrecognizable. I don't know how I let Arthur talk me into this. You see, he figured that if Evie wasn't found guilty of murder, he would just destroy her as his own ghost. Clever, huh?
Yeah, clever.
Clever man. And such a good actor. When I phoned him at the motel to tell him what had happened, he really made me believe that he hadn't planned it at all. Actually had me convinced that Evie really had done it. And I used to think Joe was the dumb one.
If Arthur was at the motel, he couldn't have killed Joe.
Then Evie did do it.
Evie's not here, sir. Dr. Spake talked to her on the phone, asked her not to go out tonight, but she wouldn't listen to him. She took a gun. She told him that she was going to go out to the beach house and kill Arthur Kendall. Now, I've looked everywhere for that address, sir, but I can't find it. Dr. Spake doesn't know where it is either. I can't find anybody who does.
Well, I can. You were there 3 or 4 summers ago, Sally. Now try and remember.
I'm trying, Mac. I remember the street, and then I remember I used to turn right at a billboard. I remember the billboard because it used to say Wilson for DA, and that was that guy that you caught trying to bribe the jury.
Well, don't you remember a more current landmark?
Yes, there. Mother Boland's brown bread. Turn right there, right there. This is it, Mac, I'm sure. Oh, Mac, we're too late.
Phone's dead. Call for the car.
It's Arthur. It's Arthur Kendall. It's Evie's.
That's correct, Enright. Yeah, the ambulance is leaving now. Yes, he's alive.
We put out an APB on Mrs. Kendall. And Nora Dane's been booked on criminal conspiracy.
Very good.
Anything else I can do, sir?
Yeah. Get a good night's sleep.
Thank you, sir.
Feel okay?
Poor Evie. Imagine being driven to murder.
You think she shot Arthur?
You don't?
Not with that fight that went on in the house.
Of course, Evie's no match for Arthur. He must have fought with a man.
Or if we believe in the Equal Opportunity Act, a very strong woman.
Mac, come on, you're onto something.
Well, let's start with the murder of Nora's husband, Joe. Nora says she didn't do it. Evie says she didn't do it.
Who do you think's telling the truth?
Well, maybe they both are.
If that's the case, we're out of suspects.
Well, there are plenty of suspects, but we're out of his clues.
Well, anyway, at least Arthur's alive.
At least you don't have to believe in ghosts any. Sally, I love you.
You better. What did I do? at least tell me what I said.
That's what I said.
Central, go ahead, sir.
Sergeant Enright, quickly. Sally, suppose somebody loved Evie very much and knew she was being driven insane.
And he killed Joe that night, thinking it was Arthur?
Suppose Arthur was about to kill Evie, and somebody walked in on him.
They fought, and he got Evie's gun, and he shot him.
Now, what would your average run-of-the-mill killer do in a case like that?
Kill Evie to get rid of all the witnesses.
Unless he thought she was the most beautiful, most exquisite woman in the world.
Harry Hastings.
Enright, sir.
Sergeant, get a squad and meet me at Harry Hastings immediately.
Yes, sir.
You stay here.
But Mac...
Wait in the car and wait for the police.
As you know, I'm not frightened, but I'll just stay with you so you can see I'm not frightened.
Come on.
Tell me those are not bats.
Okay, they're not bats.
Mac, why is he doing this?
Because they're the weapons he knows the best. Come on, do you think he can make it?
Evie!
My last illusion. She isn't dead. She's just resting. She'll wake up in a few minutes.
Is that the only way you could get her to come with you? Hypnosis?
Well, fortunately, Mac, it's part of my trade. You see, mesmerizing an audience helps create certain illusions, makes them quite real, quite real. You agree, don't you, Sally? Mac?
Mac, he's hypnotizing us.
Harry, forget it.
Yes, of course. You're too strong a substance.
No use, Harry. Police are on their way.
The police? I've catacombs here. I have underground passages. You'll not be able to find me. I'm going to keep her here. She's going to be with me. She'll be mine. I'm going to protect her. I'm going to protect her from all of you. See, Mac, it's so simple. I love her. I have always loved her. I tried to explain that to her, that I didn't want her to be hurt anymore. No, Mac, don't do it.
Harry, think of Evie. Think how she'll feel when she finds out you've killed us. Evie won't love you anymore.
Oh, yes, she'll understand. She doesn't trust you anymore. She'll trust me now. No. I'm the one she called when she went to meet Arthur at the beach house. It was me.
Then why hypnotize her? It's because she stopped trusting you when she saw you shoot Arthur. And she'll hate you if you do this, Harry.
No.
She'll hate you forever.
No, Matt,
she'll
don't say
hate
it.
you.
Don't say it, Joe. She won't hate me. She'll love me. She will love me.
How do you like my fine feathered friend?
Be glad you don't have to clean his cage. There. Careful.
You're gonna be all right, Evie.
Harry.
For a minute. Didn't even act like a regular ghost. Showing up at a seance and accusing somebody of murder who didn't even do it.
Arthur thought Evie had done it.
Well, how could he think that when he wasn't even dead?
Oh, Evie, that's marvelous.
And that Harry Hastings, what did he think when the ghost said Evie murdered him?
Well, what do you think? He thought he'd gotten away with it.
Well, if Arthur really had been dead, he could have used his supernatural powers.
Harry didn't think about that.
Okay, bye, Evie. Evie sends you 40 million kisses, and I'm to deliver them personally.
Oh, Mildred.
Yeah, right. Good night. Oh, do you think it's safe to take the hemlock off the door?
Yes, Mildred. And the juniper, and the henbane.
Right.
Okay, Mr. Smart Guy, before all this kissing starts, give a girl a break. What was the big clue that made all the lights pop on and say Harry Hastings?
You don't know?
I don't know.
You almost guessed it yourself.
I know. I almost guessed it was something that you said when they put Arthur in the ambulance.
I said you don't have to believe in ghosts anymore.
Of course, Harry Hastings believed completely in the ghost of Arthur Kendall because he believed that he had killed him. Oh, I should have gotten there.
Hey. 40 million, right here.
Coming, Master.
Congratulations.
You did pretty good. You loved it. You're not going to believe this.
Oh, yes. Ilya thinks you're ready for the pro tour.
Not yet, but he has told me he's going to take me under his wing and give me weekly lessons whenever he's in town.
That kid's going to be born with a tennis elbow if you're not careful.
That's a wives' tale. Besides, I talked to the doctor. Plenty of exercise through the 8th month.
See, your star's temper's exploded one too many times. I think he needs a rest. Maybe he should visit his homeland.
His temper sells tickets. That's what pros are all about.
Well, the vote was unanimous.
When did the Rules Committee reach this vote?
This morning.
Well, I don't understand it. Your father invites him here, and at the same time, gets him suspended.
My father didn't acquire this 1,000-acre paradise by being predictable. Besides, he's only one member of the committee. He doesn't own it.
He owns it, all right. Look, Ilya Ostrov is my livelihood. If he doesn't play, I don't eat.
Well, maybe you should look around for another pro, someone who knows the rules of the game.
I have been hacking away at pro tennis for 15 years, and now it's finally a big money game, and I've got a big money player. So your father wants to dump me out in the street? I tell you, I don't like it.
Mr. Hoffenstein, my father holds his possessions very dearly. That includes his newspaper, this 1,000-acre estate and everything on it. The wild game preserve, his prize cattle, but most of all, his beautiful wife.
I'm going to talk to the old man myself.
Well, however you handle it, don't keep your tennis player in the dark much longer, or he'll read it on the sports page.
Sally.
Hi,
Hi.
Walter.
3 years is too long a time, but you're still as beautiful as ever.
You guys haven't met. This is my husband, Mac. This is Ewing's son, Walter.
How do you do?
Commissioner, your wife is one of the fabulous spirits of our time.
That's what she keeps telling me.
Congratulations are in order. We're talking to the new president of the Webley Corporation.
Well, thank you. I wanted to call, but you know how hectic it can be starting at the top.
Walter, have you seen your father?
I think he went to check out the lions.
The lions?
Yeah, it's his latest acquisition. He brought them in from Africa, but I think he's going to donate them to the zoo. They're frightening the workers.
Had to mention at least one of the guests.
2.
One, I was talking about you.
Walter, dear, would you please mingle a little? I can't do it all myself.
Are you two staying for dinner?
You couldn't drag us away. Your father's meals are legend.
I'll see you both later. Commissioner, I have to go mingle.
Wasn't Walter one of your amorous prospects in one of your previous lives?
4 very heavy dates. Then, darling, you came along, and you swept me off my feet. And all the other boys just sort of faded into Never Never Land.
And Walter, heartbroken, poor thing, exiled himself to Southern California, where he sold insurance for Daddy's corporation.
Well, he couldn't exactly live at home with Mother. Do you think it's true what they say about Ilya and Rachel?
Todo va bien, senor.
How is the beef aging?
Beautifully. Now that you have installed a new freezing unit, we no longer have to process the private stock commercially.
Ronaldo, I've just been checking on the lions. They seemed hungry.
They are hungry.
We'll have Silverio feed them.
Silverio's gone for 3 days now.
Gone? Where?
Maybe he went back to Caracas. Or maybe he's just taking advantage of the long employment with you. But he has disappeared. And no one else is going to feed those panthers.
They're lions, Ronaldo.
They scare the herd.
I know. That's why we moved them near the house.
They also scare the workers, senor.
They're caged, aren't they? The men will just have to live with it.
With Silverio gone, who's going to feed them?
All right, Ronaldo, I'll feed them. It's going to be 37 for dinner tonight. Serve the best Argentine.
You must have the top dogs out today, senor.
The upper crust of the upper crust, Ronaldo.
Oh.
you see him, say hello from me.
Mr. Webley, excuse me. Could I have a word with you, please?
I've got a court reserved tomorrow if you'd like to play.
Well, I'd love to, Sally, but I don't think I'm really in shape for singles.
You seen the shape she's in?
We're playing doubles. Besides, I think I can get you a really good partner.
Well, she's just as tenacious as ever, Commissioner.
Some might even say pushy.
What do you say, Walter?
Well, what time?
12 noon at the tennis club in town.
I'll be there.
Great.
Who have you got in mind for a partner?
You.
Some of us have to work for a living.
Yes, but everyone has to take time off for lunch.
To eat lunch.
I'll bring you a peanut butter and honey sandwich from the house. You can't say no because I've already set Elia as the fourth. Besides, I think that playing with a pro might improve your game.
You know, you are pushy.
It's a dog-eat-dog world, Commissioner.
All right, Spot. Let's go pay our respects to the host.
You've had your official notice, Mr. Hoffenstein. I don't wish to discuss the matter further. Now, Sally.
Hello, Ewing.
Ah, Commissioner.
Nice party.
Thank you. You know, there was a time, Commissioner, when I thought that your lovely wife was going to be my daughter-in-law.
I think Walter needs a much younger woman, Ewing.
Don't we all?
How goes the fight against crime, Commissioner?
Oh, it has its ups and downs, Ewing.
Well, you know you can depend on my media to support you. Or do I read a complaint in there someplace, Stuart?
Well, your blood and gore headlines, Ewing.
They're a little tacky, Ewing.
Yeah.
Well, these are tacky times, Sally. But I'll see that they're muted, at least until the circulation goes down and my stockholders complain.
Ewing just loves people. We do this every weekend.
Would you excuse me a minute?
Elia, where are you going?
I'll be back in a moment. Enjoying yourself, Ted? What time does the plane leave tomorrow night for Tucson?
9:30. But there's no need for you to be on it now, is there?
What are you talking about?
I don't think it makes any difference at all. Tomorrow's a whole new ballgame.
Dinner is ready, sir.
Have my wife join me at the table.
Yes, sir. Webley! What is this? Some kind of police state you run here? You miserable lowlife. You are nothing but an ill-bred fascist!
That outburst just nails your coffin shut, my friend. Please escort Mr. Astroff to his car.
Threaten to hurt the last of me, Webley! I'll sue you for everything you own! You can't get away with this! Dinner is served. I come to this country because here there is a sense of justice. Ha! That old man is a Nazi.
You play around with his wife and he's a Nazi? You're not making any sense.
I never touched Rachel.
Then you're even more stupid than I thought.
I do not want to talk to anyone.
Yes?
Hoffenstein, this is Ewing Webley. Is your client with you?
Just a moment, sir. It's Webley. He wants to talk.
Hang it up on him.
You want to play tennis for a living, or don't you?
This is Ilya Astrov.
If you can hold on to that temper of yours, maybe we can work things out.
I will try, Mr. Webley.
That's the beginning. Drive over to the main house. I'll be in the library. The butler will show you in.
He wants me to drive out there.
Well, that's good. You'll go.
He better not be playing any more games with me.
Ilya, that old man has been outplaying guys like you all his life. Now, you will go out there and you will tell him that your relationship, or whatever you call it, with his wife is over. You will do it as nicely as you can, and maybe, just maybe, we'll get lucky. Now, go on, get dressed.
I think I'll reread Gone with the Wind.
Well, that was one of the most embarrassing things I've ever seen.
What, my backhand?
No, you know. Ewing and Ilya.
You better not make any mistakes with your instructor. He'll come after you with a racket.
Don't bend your elbow on the follow-through.
Thank you,
I
Mildred.
didn't know you played tennis, Mildred.
Oh, well, I had to give it up. I couldn't see over the net.
Where are you going?
To bed.
In your coat?
It just came in.
Were you out?
Yes, with Sarah Jukes.
Oh, who is Sarah Jukes?
Sarah Jukes is in charge of the entire staff of Walter Webley's new townhouse.
Oh, townhouse. I like that word.
That's 2 words.
Well, she likes both of them. Commissioner, did you know that Sarah Jukes is the highest paid housekeeper in the Bay Area?
On the other hand, I give you better straight lines.
Yeah, you got a point there.
Say goodnight, Mildred.
Good night, Mildred.
See?
Come on, Mac. Hurry up and change your clothes. We only have the courts for an hour.
Commissioner?
What's the matter, Mac?
Walter, I have some bad news for you, I'm afraid. Huh? It's about your father. He's dead.
How?
I don't know. Would you like to go out to the ranch with me?
I'd like to go too, Mac.
Fine. Where's he live?
I don't know. He's late.
I'll see you in the house, Sally.
Commissioner?
Sergeant Enright, this is Walter Webley.
Mr. Webley? Sergeant.
Cause of death established yet?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Commissioner, the cause of death was the result of being eaten by lions. I wish there was a better way to say that.
Well, how can you be sure it was my father?
Well, we found a shoe, some personal belongings, and a few pieces of cloth, which the butler said were the clothes that your father wore last night.
It was an accident, wasn't it, Sergeant?
I'm afraid not, sir.
Well, do you know who did it?
No, sir.
Well, Commissioner, I suppose you'll give this your own special attention?
I intend to, Walter.
If you'll excuse me,
Walter, I wouldn't mention this to the press until we finish our investigation. shoe, a piece of clothing? It's not very positive identification.
No, sir. I didn't want to mention it in front of the Sun.
You sound like you don't want to mention it in front of anybody.
Well, we found Mr. Webley's dentures, sir.
His dentures?
Yes, sir. The dentist has already verified them.
Well, who found them?
The foreman of the wrench. Do you know that Mr. Webley's teeth cost more than my mother's house?
Any idea how he ended up in the lion's cage?
Yes, sir. I think so. You notice the scuff marks in the sod? Well, it looks as if Mr. Webley was dragged all the way down here. Whether he was alive or dead, we don't know.
Why would the killer put him in a lion's cage?
So the lions could eat him, sir. Of course, if the killer was trying to make it look accidental, he didn't cover his tracks very well.
That's what I meant. It may be tougher to prove murder without a body, but how would the killer know that the lion would eat him beyond recognition?
Well, the person who looks after the lions was away for several days. Those lions were awfully hungry, sir. And according to the foreman, Mr. Webley himself was going to feed the lions last night.
Well, he did do that, didn't he?
Yes, sir. Oh. Now, you can see further signs of someone being dragged along here. See the shoe marks? And there are more marks up here, sir.
Have you talked to anyone in the house?
Well, the butler said he was up till a little after midnight when a Mr. Astroff arrived.
Astroff?
Yes, sir. Mr. Webley was expecting him.
The butler told you that?
Yes, sir. Mr. Webley told him to wait up until Astroff arrived and then show him into the library.
What have you got, Harrison?
Nothing much, sir. A splotch of blood on the chair. No weapon. Someone tried to make it look like there wasn't any struggle. But the blood hasn't been here more than 12 hours.
Hello, Commissioner.
Oh, Rachel. Rachel, this is Sergeant Enright. How do you do? What happened last night, Rachel, after we left?
I don't know. I knew Ewing was upset, so after the guests left, I went right to bed.
What was he upset about?
Me.
Because of Ilya?
I told Ewing it was nothing, but he wouldn't believe me.
Ilya came back here last night, Rachel.
I know. Clifford told me.
Clifford?
Our butler.
Did you hear anything unusual? An argument, perhaps?
I took 2 sleeping pills.
Yeah, what about you, Walter? Did you hear anything?
No, I didn't spend the night here last night. The vases. The vases are missing.
Those drab old things, Walter?
Those drab old things are Ming Dynasty and worth a small fortune. Rachel's idea of a work of art is a $1,000 bill.
You would never talk to me like that in front of your father.
Commissioner, I'm sure these vases were up there last night.
Yes, well, if you see anything else missing, Walter, why? Be sure and report it to Sergeant Enright.
Excuse me, sir. When you have time, I'd like to go over this list of your employees with you.
Certainly. But you won't find the killer on that list.
Who did it, man?
The lions.
The lions? Who in their right mind would go into a lion cage?
The lion tamer would.
I said, who in their right minds?
What's the number of the tennis club?
555-7942.
749?
7942.
7942. Hello, this is Commissioner McMillan. Has Ilya Astroff come in yet? He hasn't. All right. Thank you. Didn't call, didn't show.
You don't think that Ilya did it?
When I find him, I'll ask him.
He said he'd call me right after the meeting, but I haven't heard from him yet.
You're sure it was Ewing Webley on the phone?
I'm positive. I have a key. Ilya! Ilya? Well, he obviously did not sleep here last night.
It's obvious he left in a hurry, too.
All the toilet articles are gone.
Wherever he went, he certainly didn't plan to play any tennis.
You know, I've never been to a funeral service in a crypt before.
Well, I think we can assume it's not the social event of the current season.
Mildred, would you wear this black one?
Me, never. Black's too depressing.
Well, I don't want to wear anything inappropriate.
I always like to put myself in the position of the deceased. In a manner of speaking, of course. I mean, if it was my funeral, I wouldn't like a lot of people standing around looking like they were going to a funeral.
What would you wear?
What kind of a man was Ewing Webley?
Strong, decisive, very rich.
How'd he like his women?
Young and beautiful.
Just once, I'd like to hear one of these titans of industry say that they like their women older, with lots of character.
Don't hold your breath.
Yeah, well, young and beautiful, huh? Here, how about this one? If I was Ewing Webley, I'd like to see you in this one.
Mildred, I can't wear that one.
Why not?
Well, this is the dress that I always wear on special occasions when I want to seduce Mac.
You need a special occasion to seduce him?
Yeah, like Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays.
What about the other 3 days of the week?
He seduces me. Besides, there's 4 days, not 3. I've got it. What about this one?
Oh, yeah, I like it. Splits the difference. Tasteful but subdued.
My thoughts exactly.
Sally, let's get going. We'll be late to the crypt.
I'll be just another minute.
You're not going to wear that slinky thing to a crypt, are you?
What day is it?
24th.
Of the week.
Wednesday.
I'm going to wear this one.
Right, I'll be downstairs pacing.
What are those other 2 folds for?
One is for you, one is for me.
But we won't die for ages and ages. Poor Ewing. He's gonna be alone for a long time. Look at Walter and Rachel. Well, they don't look very grief-stricken to me.
That's true.
Well, they could have done it just as well as Elia.
You're just prejudiced where green-eyed tennis pros are concerned.
Who has the most to gain by Ewing's death?
Probably Walter or Rachel. But the fact that they're not overcome with grief doesn't make them capable of murder.
You never can tell.
And it was your friend Astroff who was taken powder.
Well, he's probably scared.
Oh.
Hi, Mrs.
What's up,
McMillan.
Charlie?
Hi, Sergeant.
Well, I came over, sir, because the foreman filed a missing persons report on one of the workers, and I thought I ought to talk to him.
Well, why don't you take the car? I'll go with Charlie.
All right. Any word on Elia yet?
No, ma'am. A couple of people phoned in that they saw him, but it didn't check out.
Don't forget the M&N Bernaise sauce.
I thought that cooking school of yours taught you to make your own.
Oh, they do. You try and try until you get it just right. Then you go out and find somebody that does it better than you do.
M&N.
M&N. Now, if you find Elia, be nice to him. I'm sure he didn't do it. See you later.
She sounds positive.
Well, you don't give up a good tennis pro without a struggle.
Ah, Senor Martinez.
Oh, Sergeant, how do you do?
May I present Commissioner McMillan?
Hello, senor.
Commissioner, I was going to call you to cancel the missing persons report.
Oh, he showed up then?
A letter arrived from Silverio this morning.
From Caracas. I don't speak Spanish.
He says he was homesick for his family, and he apologizes for not quitting properly and wants to thank the patron for the many years of employment. He also says that he's very happy where his nieces and nephews can take good care of him.
Then may I keep that? I'll have missing persons remove his name from their lists.
Thank you, Sergeant.
Senor Martinez, did you see anything, or did any of the people around here see anything unusual the night of the murder?
Well, do you know of anyone who might have wanted Mr. Webley dead?
Mr. Webley had what my people call pundonor, a man with courage who's not afraid to use his hands. He never forgot his common origins. No, he had no enemies among the workers.
Well, if you think of anything unusual, why, please call us.
Ignacio.
Get over to probate. See what you can find out about the Webley estate. What do you mean he won't cooperate? What do I have to do? Come down there myself? Wait a minute, wait a minute. You mean to tell me that two goons dragged this guy out of a restaurant, haul him out into a parking lot, set fire to his pants, and he won't press charges? Oh, family quarrel, I see. Sure. Well, don't let him go. I don't care. Dance that lawyer around for an hour until I come down and talk to him. Okay. Hiya.
What was that all about? Anyway, Mac, I came down to see if you'd like to take me to lunch. I know this charming little Slavic restaurant that's run by a man named Mr.
Borovich?
How did you know? Anyway, I thought we could get a delicious lunch and then maybe sit and talk to him for a little while.
About Ilya Astrov?
Well, yes.
Well, no. Because I'm going to do it, not you.
But, Mac...
Don't butt me. And you know I'm having lunch with the mayor.
Oh, that's right. I completely forgot.
So you thought you'd just mosey down here and see if I'd spoken to Borovich yet.
You know I never meddle.
Well, what do you call it?
Contributing.
Sally, love of my life, please, stay out of this one. It's too dangerous, too difficult, and I don't want to have to worry about you.
Mac, Mr. Borovich and Ilya are very, very close. Besides, you know how those Middle European men can be, very charming and evasive. They're not going to tell you a thing.
Whereas you...
Whereas I, with my infinite charm and innocent demeanor, could wring information out of a store window dummy.
Then go window shopping on your lunch hour and stay away from Borovich.
Mac!
Sally!
You know, you can be very forceful when you want to be. Must be the power of the office.
Flattery will get you nowhere.
I'm not flattering you. I'm extremely impressed.
Stop. I'm getting a swelled head. I'll see you at home.
Right. Bye.
Bye.
Do give my best to the mayor.
I will. And Sally?
Yes.
No Borovich.
Mac,
Yeah?
I love you. Mr. Borovich, I'm a friend of Ilya Astrov, and he told me that you're the very best friend that he has in this country.
He's like a son, but he has much to learn. The stories in the news sadden me.
You don't think that Ilya is capable of murder?
I think there is a breaking point in every man that should not be tested.
Would you have him call me?
I don't know where he is.
Mr. Borovich, he's in trouble. I'm sure he's going to contact you.
He hasn't contacted me.
If he does, will you tell him to call my husband and give himself up? Please?
I could try to persuade him. But Ilya is a man who makes his own decisions.
Tell him that my husband is a fair man, that he won't be railroaded or anything like that.
I'm sure your husband is just. A woman always reflects the character of the man she lives with.
That works both ways, you know.
Ah, yes. These are modern times. In my house, a woman is not allowed to smoke.
Good for you. It's a nasty habit.
Mrs. McMillan, I am like a godfather to the Slavic people in the city. I'll pass your words along.
Thank you.
No.
Thank you. We've got to stop meeting like this.
Let me see your badge.
What badge?
Looking for a fugitive from justice requires a badge, Mrs.
Aha! We're down to that, are we? What are you doing here anyway, Mac?
Looking for a fugitive. Sally, I told you I wanted to talk to Mr. Borovich. I asked you not to.
Since you were supposed to be having lunch with the mayor, I thought you might get tied up and you'd appreciate the help.
Well, I did have lunch with the mayor.
How is he anyway?
Oh, fine. He's... What did Borovich say?
He says he doesn't know where Ilya is.
You're sure?
Yes, Mr. Borovich wouldn't lie to me, Mac.
Oh, I see. Whatever Mr. Borovich tells you, that's it.
Intuition, Mac.
It's the same intuition that tells you that Astrov is not the killer, huh?
He's a killer, all right, on the tennis courts. Only, watch out.
up tennis, Charlie?
This is a beautiful racket, sir. Is it new?
Sally gave it to me. She thinks I ought to get out more.
Well, she's got a very good point, sir. A healthy body is a happy body.
A healthy body is a happy body. Got it. Any leads on Astroff?
Not really, sir. I had breakfast with Pinson. He's an investigator over at probate.
What do you have?
1 egg, 3 minutes. 2 slices of bacon, crisp.
What information did he have?
Oh. Well, according to him, the Webley Corporation was up to its eyebrows in debt to the banks.
Oh?
And by the time the government takes its cut out of the estate, there's not going to be anything left. Commissioner, will you tell me how a man with $1 million goes broke?
He spends $1.5 million.
Well, I guess that's what he did. Pinson says that the corporation was always 1 loan ahead of bankruptcy.
Anything illegal?
No, sir. Nothing that's been established. But the money that was borrowed from the banks didn't always go back into the businesses. A lot of it ended up with the Webley Charity Foundation.
Tax exemption?
Yes, sir.
All right, I want you to check that foundation out. Find out where the money went, who authorized what, and anything else you can find.
Right away, sir.
Charlie?
Oh.
Oh, that sounds lovely, dear. Yeah, but I'll have to check my calendar. Hold on for a moment, all right? Just a minute. Oh, it's great. Yes, dinner tonight will be lovely. Where shall we meet? At the restaurant. All right, fine. See you later. Bye-bye.
Mildred, was that for me?
Nope, was for me. Sarah Jukes wants to take me to dinner tonight.
Oh.
Told her I'd have to check with you first, though.
Oh, that's fine with me. I didn't know what we were going to serve for dinner tonight anyway. I just thought I'd get Mac to take me out.
Oh, good, because actually I did accept. But I would cancel if you wanted me to.
No, that's fine. Where's she going to take you?
I don't know, someplace I never heard of. Le Peterman?
Le Peterman? Mildred, that's the most exclusive French restaurant in all of San Francisco. You have to wait days to get reservations there.
Well, Sarah's very well connected.
You can say that again.
Oh, I guess I'll have to dress up. Wonder what I should wear.
Why don't you wear that cute little dress with the beige stripes?
No, Sarah says stripes makes me look chunky. I think I'll stick with the polka dots, you know?
Mildred, I don't want to rain on your parade. But did it ever occur to you that Sarah might be buttering you up just to pump you about Mac's investigation?
Sarah is too well bred for that.
I just don't want you to be disappointed.
No, I'll tell you why I think Sarah likes me, because I'm all the things she's not. Good sense of humor.
Refreshingly candid.
Unaffected.
Honest.
Oh, yeah, that too. Oh, I tell you, Mrs. McMillan, I'm really kind of just too marvelous for words.
And so modest.
Ah, most of all, that. Well, I hate to stop this conversation, but I have to go bathe in unguents and oils.
Unguents and oils?
I'm gonna shower, Kitty. Anyway.
Look, whatever the problems are, we'll confront them. Yes. Yes, of course. I want no unnecessary delays. Just get this through probate as fast as possible. I don't want to be tied up with this thing forever. Right. That's right. Goodbye.
It's not only unfair, Walter. It's not possible.
$500 a week is a lot of money. You get to keep all your diamonds and furs.
Maybe for 1 or 2 days, but 1 week.
That's all he left you.
I just can't believe it. 6 of the best years in a girl's life I gave to that. He reaches out to me even from the grave. It's downright rude.
Did you really think that Ewing was going to leave everything he worked for to a Vegas chorus girl and a tennis pro? Everything my father controlled was like a toy to him. He left all his toys to his son. Simple as that.
You know, Walter, your father used to think that I was the most glistening toy of all.
Third District, Sergeant Halliday.
Halliday. This is Comparini.
Yeah, Paul, what is it?
My place. He hit me. The tennis guy.
Hey, Camperini, you still there? We're on our way. Camperini!
Astroff.
Get me Sergeant Enright.
He was shot once in the back, sir, but he lived long enough to phone the police.
You're sure his final word was Astroff?
Sergeant Halliday has a tape of all incoming calls at his desk, sir.
Oh,
that phone will be dusted for prints. There's one thing that doesn't make sense. What was Ilya Astroff doing here?
Ming Dynasty vases.
That is very good, sir. But how would he know that this particular antique dealer was also a fence?
Well, Comparini hung out with a jet set, didn't he? They're the only ones who can afford these things.
Well, they match what's in this picture, sir. Astroff's got running money now.
Check with immigration, his visa status, any new applications. Probably got enough money now to get himself a new passport and a new appearance to match. Ewing had good taste.
What do you do with them?
Well, you look at them.
Well, they don't do anything for me.
Think how much money they cost.
Yeah. Yes. That helps.
Hi.
Hi.
How was your day?
Horrible.
Mine too. My backhand has completely disappeared. I don't know why I even go out in the courts. It's so embarrassing. Then after that disaster, I had lunch with Gertrude Engelbach. You know her. She works with the charity. She suggested that we go over and see the Giacometti exhibit. We had to stand in line for so... How did you say your day was?
Oh, horrible.
You really mean that, don't you?
Would I ever lie to you?
Well, what happened?
An antique dealer was murdered today in North Beach. Paul Comparini. Guess what his last word was? Astroff.
Ilya?
You know those missing vases from Ewing's library? They were in Comparini's safe.
Well, it looks like Ilya has murdered 2 people, doesn't it?
Anything's still possible.
It is? Maybe you'd be interested in what I found out today.
Have you been snooping around again?
Just a little bit. Ilya's manager has a policy with Lloyd's of London that pays him $500,000 if Ilya, through death or injury, can't play tennis.
How'd you find that out?
Gertrude Engelbach's husband wrote up the policy.
That's a nifty-looking dress, Mildred. Where are you going?
Out to dinner with Sarah Jukes.
Oh, yes, the highest-paid housekeeper in the Bay Area.
She makes enough money to take her friends to very classy restaurants.
What about our dinner?
Oh, that's taken care of. I'm cooking dinner tonight.
Yes, another one of her gourmet delights. Enjoy.
The last gourmet delight was a nut casserole dipped in goat butter.
Yes, and you know how much you like that one? You're gonna like the one I've got cooking even more.
What is it?
Well, you've never had it before. Rattlesnake. Rattlesnake Bernaise.
I have an idea. Why don't you and Mildred have rattlesnake bernaise for lunch tomorrow, and meanwhile, why don't we go out for dinner tonight?
You think so? Only take me a minute to get dressed.
Rattlesnake bernaise?
Good night, Commissioner.
Oh, good evening, Dante.
How do you do, Miss Jones? Hello. Your table is ready. Would you follow me, please?
Yes, thank you very much.
This way, please.
Come along, Mildred.
Later, madame.
Thank you.
Oh, look. We'll start off with the vichyssoise. Then the filet, English cut. Medium rare. And the asparagus with just a pinch of lemon.
Pinch of lemon. Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, Mildred, there's much concerning life and relationships with employers that you have to relearn.
Where do I begin?
With your hair.
My hair? What's that got to do with working for the McMillans?
We must find a new image for you. One that creates more, detachment.
Well, I'm game to try anything once.
Tell me, Mildred, what are your duties with the McMillans?
Oh, just about everything. I'm sort of jack of all trades in the household.
Really? Your obligations should be clearly defined.
Well, what's to define about a dust rag on a grocery list?
Oh, I never pick up a dust cloth.
No kidding. How do you manage that?
I have a staff of 4.
Oh, yeah, well, things are a little different at the McMillans. We keep it pretty informal.
Yes, I'm beginning to realize that. Oh, you're too familiar with them, Mildred. Don't you see? Once you allow that to happen, it's extremely difficult to get a raise. Instead, they give you, affection.
Oh, well, to tell you the truth, Sarah, I'll settle for affection any old day.
Well, as long as you have such a familiar relationship with them, you might want to pass on a bit of information.
Such as?
That if your employer does not cease hounding my employer, then my employer is going to pillory your employer in his various media.
Wow. The commissioner's never been pilloried there before.
Oh, this is no time for levity, Mildred.
Well, in that case, you can pass this along. My employer is not afraid of your employer, and he intends to do everything he has to do in order to solve this case, no matter who's involved.
How unprofessional of you.
Yeah, well, different strokes for different folks, Sarah.
How is the vichyssoise?
A little heavy on the vichy or the soise, but I haven't figured it out yet.
If you discharge that many men, senor, there will not be enough hands.
It'll work out, Ronaldo. We're getting out of the beef business and the game preserve business. It's just too expensive to operate. Comprendes?
I will give the man their notice.
Fine.
What's Walter so hot under the collar about?
He wants his Ming vases back.
What about immigration?
Well, there's no record of Astrov having used his Yugoslavian passport to leave the country. I'd say the odds are he's still around.
Well, I didn't say he's still in the city.
Oh, we keep checking planes, buses, trains, car rentals, etc. There's no trace.
Put a tail on Hoffenstein, Mrs. Webley, and Walter. And Borovich.
If you don't mind, sir, I'll take Mrs. Webley myself.
Your father always wanted to know how the men were doing personally.
I am more concerned with operating this place efficiently. Comprendes? That'll be all, Martinez.
Senor? Hello, Walter. I came out here personally to ask your permission.
Did you bring the vases?
No, there's still evidence in a murder case. You'll get them soon enough.
What about Mr. Ostrov?
Nothing.
Did you check the North Beach area?
We sure did.
He's already killed 2 people and you can't find him. That doesn't speak very well for the police, does it, Commissioner?
I'm not so sure he murdered the antique dealer.
You've got the dying man's voice on a tape implicating Ostrov, and you're not sure?
If the dying man made a phone call to the police and then died, he'd leave prints. There were no fingerprints on the telephone.
Maybe the killer came back and wiped the prints off.
You mean Ilya?
I mean the killer, Walter.
Sure. The murderer kills the antique dealer and then leaves the room. The antique dealer drags himself to the telephone, makes the phone call, dies. Then the killer comes back and wipes the prints off the telephone.
Doesn't sound right, does it?
Not even close.
Well, I'm off to town. You have a nice day. Is everything all right, Walter?
Goodbye, Rachel.
Isn't he adorable?
There's a simple but embarrassing explanation, Commissioner. The police arrive, and under the pressure of the moment, they use the antique dealer's phone to call the lab man. Then the unthinking police officer realizes he goofed, wipes his fingerprints and everything else off the phone.
That's possible.
I don't understand. You're the commissioner of police, and you're just about the only one in this town who does not believe that Astroff killed my father.
I'm just not as sure as everyone else. Your father was a powerful man. There's an awful lot of people who would like to see him dead.
So you're the reason that the estate is being held up in probate?
No, the reason is the law. A corporation just can't borrow money from the banks to transfer it to charity foundations. Banks loan money to businesses, not charities.
So what do you intend to do? Drag the Webley name through the courts to keep the wolves off your back?
I'm simply trying to find the murderer of your father.
Then what are you wasting your time out here for?
Because I came out here personally to ask your permission to go through the Webley books.
No, not a chance.
We'll get a court order.
You allow a man known to millions of television viewers to slip through your fingers, so now you're on a fishing expedition to hide your incompetence? Humiliating, isn't it? Oh, and by the way, isn't Sally a friend of Astroff's?
She is. She's also a friend of yours.
Maybe you're not looking hard enough.
You don't really believe that.
It can be made to look that way. The Webley media has been kind to you up until now. Commissioner.
Can't out kindness.
Wherever you are. Yes, Commissioner. I'm on a stakeout at the Webley residence here in the city.
I take it the beautiful widow's inside.
That she is, sir.
Good. What about the others?
Well, they're under surveillance, too.
All right, I'll be at home. And add Walter to your list.
Will do. Commissioner, have a very pleasant evening.
Hi, Sergeant.
Evening, ma'am.
Isn't this a coincidence, running into you like this?
Well, I was just going to stop and have a bite to eat.
Oh, Sergeant, there isn't a restaurant within 10 blocks of here.
Oh, well, I've got a little bit of dinner in here.
It looks awful.
Not really. Chocolate milk, sardine sandwich.
You know, you're just not sneaky enough to make a good cop. Am I a suspect or something?
Well, ma'am, to tell you the truth, I have orders to keep my eye on you.
Is that going to be a little difficult with you out here and me in there?
Well, I mean, an eye on the apartment.
Do you want to kill two birds with one stone?
Ma'am?
Keep an eye on me and the apartment.
Ma'am?
You are going to be out here watching the apartment all night, aren't you?
Yes, ma'am, I'm afraid so.
Well, then why did you come inside? I'm not going out.
Well, that's highly irregular.
But it's just awful if you have to stay out here all night.
Well, I have to agree with you on that.
Well, then don't be silly. Come on in. Come on. Here we are, Sergeant.
Thank you. Uh-oh. I'm afraid I can't eat those pastries. I'll bloat up right here on the spot.
Oh, but you can't be on a diet all the time.
Well, I am, though. You know, it's really bad. I mean, if I so much as walk by a bakery, I gain weight.
What a shame. Oh, it's so muggy. I think I'll go take a shower. Go ahead, watch television if you like.
Oh, can I use your telephone?
Sure.
This is Sergeant Enright. I can be reached at 555-8787. Right, thank you.
Hello, Mildred.
Oh, hi, Commissioner. Want a snack?
What is it?
Leftover rattlesnake Bernays.
With or without the venom? It tastes suspiciously like tuna fish to me.
Gee, I wouldn't know. You'll have to take that up with the missus.
Where is she?
She wants you to pick her up at the tennis club. She's hanging around there waiting for a game.
That's all I need to be married to a tennis bum.
Right.
Enjoy the snake, Mildred, but be careful of the fangs.
Sweet.
With the Secretary of State due back in Washington on Tuesday. Locally, police continue their search for professional tennis player Ilya Astrov, wanted in connection with the murders of Ewing Webley and antique dealer Paul Comparini. We have received word, although it's unconfirmed at this time, that Police Commissioner Stuart McMillan is continuing to look for other suspects. This despite the substantial evidence pointing at Astrov. We'll have all the sports for you after this message.
Hello, this is Commissioner McMillan. I'd like to talk to Sergeant Enright. Can you put me through on this line, please? Yes, I'll wait.
In hockey, the Wings took the Blaze 3-1. The Hawks edged the Rangers 4-3, and the Canadiens blitz LA 8-0. In NBA action, the Lakers edged the Warriors 117. That's the Lakers' fourth in a row, and it puts them back into a tie for first place. And for the Warriors, they haven't beaten the Lakers now in their last 5 tries. That goes back to the last month of last season.
This is Webley,
In
telephone.
other action, Portland walloped the Bucks 123-99. New York devastated Boston 106-92.
Webley.
Cincinnati squeaked by Baltimore 105-104 in overtime. And Chicago routed Philadelphia 109-104. Submissions 145 in the third round. They're scheduled 10-rounder tonight. And that's it in sports.
Hello, Sergeant Enright here.
How is everything, Charlie?
Sir?
You keeping a close watch on Rachel?
Well, sir,
Something wrong, Charlie?
I lost her, sir.
Something's wrong, Charlie.
I would say so. Yes, sir. She said that she was going to go take a shower, and then...
You can relax. Rachel's here at the tennis club playing with Sally.
Well, why would she go and pull a stunt like that?
Fun and games. Maybe you better watch Walter instead. At least with him, you won't fall for that old shower routine.
Yes, sir. Now you know why I never went in for vice work.
Now I know.
All right, it's my ad.
play with you. That was a nice game.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Mrs. Webley?
Yes?
There's a phone call for you.
Okay, thank you. I'll be right back.
Okay. Hi, Mac.
That bad, huh?
Hello, Commissioner.
Rachel,
Do you know that she beat me? Do you believe it?
where's she going?
I don't know. She's gonna take the 4th phone call that she's had with one set.
Very popular widow.
I thought I could beat her. I almost did beat her. You know, there's a lot more to Rachel than meets the eye.
I think Enright might agree with that statement.
Did she beat him too?
More or less.
You know, at first she comes on with that sort of dumb image, but after a while you find out that she's a very self-sufficient girl underneath.
Well, goodbye, you two.
Don't you want to play another set?
Oh, I can't. I've just been invited to go to a party. I think it's best I start going out again. But I'll be home all next week. Why don't you give me a call? We'll play.
Okay.
Bye, Commissioner.
Goodbye, Rachel.
Well, there's a new little Italian place just opened across the street. You want to give it a try?
That certainly beats your rattlesnake offer, but I think I'll see you at home. Do you mind?
Where are you going?
Well, I think she's just as smart as you think she is. This is Commissioner McMillan. Get me Sergeant Enright.
Mac, you're gonna have to be more careful. Whoever tried to kill you could try again, you know.
I must be getting close.
To who? Whom? Walter? Rachel?
You're forgetting Ilya Astrov.
Somebody else could have done it, you know.
Yeah, like who? Who?
You were right the first time. Ted Hoffenstein, you're forgetting him.
You'll blame anyone but Astrov.
Well, it is true that my backhand has been deteriorating since he left.
You think Hoffenstein framed Astrov?
Could be.
I don't. His policy doesn't pay off on any criminal acts by Astrov. Only death or injury.
Well, that's good, because I'm having lunch with Ted tomorrow at the tennis club in town.
What does he want to have lunch with you for?
He just called a little while ago to make the date. If nothing else, maybe he could recommend a new tennis instructor.
Commissioner McMillan? Sergeant?
Mrs. Webley in?
Yes, she is. Would you like to come in?
Yep.
I'm afraid we are a bit disorganized today. The estate auditors just seem to be everywhere.
Mrs. Webley sleep here last night?
Yes, she did. She's having her breakfast out on the veranda.
Would you tell her I'd like to see her, please?
Certainly, sir.
Commissioner? Will you look at these paintings?
What about them?
I may be ill.
Why? Some of these are quite beautiful.
But look at the prices on these.
Well, great art's become big business, Charlie.
You're telling me. Well, now, take this picture, sir.
Picasso.
What do you think of it?
Well, beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Well, to this beholder, this woman here, it is a woman, isn't it?
Well, yes, I think so.
Well, this woman looks like a hard-boiled Easter egg.
Well, at $150,000 appraised value, I'd like to have it in my Easter basket.
Well, confidentially, sir, I wouldn't give you a nickel for it.
Is that a firm offer to the estate?
Oh, excuse me. No, I was just offering a personal opinion.
You strike me, young man, as someone whose tastes run more to those clowns with the weepy eyes.
Well, I may not know much about art.
But he knows what he likes.
Commissioner? Yes. Mrs. Webley will see you out on the veranda.
Thank you.
Oh, sir? Well, I'm a little embarrassed about last night, sir. So...
Oh, you want to wait here?
If you don't mind.
Oh.
Good morning.
Hello, Rachel.
Would you care for some coffee?
What kind of games do you have in store for us today?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Tell that sergeant that I thought it was the fun thing to do at the time.
Where did you go last night?
To a party.
Where?
A yacht.
Whose yacht?
Some rich young thing. Adrian Perry's his name. You sure you don't want some coffee?
Positive. Where's Astrov?
He hasn't contacted me. Honest, you really are mad, aren't you?
You damned right I am. Somebody tried to run me off a cliff. I don't like that. It clutters up my day. So tell us what you know and save yourself a lot of grief.
All I know is that my husband's dead, and a very attractive young acquaintance is missing.
Mm-hmm. And what do you make of all that? Did the very attractive acquaintance do in your husband as we're all led to believe?
I don't think so. At least I didn't think so until that antique dealer was shot.
If it was Astrov, why would he try to run me off a cliff?
Maybe it was an accident.
Yeah, accident.
Listen, when you see that sergeant, you tell him I think he's cute in a kinky sort of way.
Good afternoon, Commissioner.
You know you are cute. In a kinky sort of way.
Thank you, sir.
Anything yet on Astrov?
No, sir, but some very interesting facts on Walter Webley. Let me see if I can get this straight now. Okay. Now, for the past 3 months, each time the bank loans were transferred to the tax-exempt foundation, young Webley flew into Venezuela, and he deposited the money there.
How much involved?
$10 million.
10 million? Get a court order. I want to see those books.
Well, you've really gone to a lot of trouble. You don't really think I killed my father, do you?
There's $10 million missing, Walter.
No, not missing, Commissioner. I just invested. South America, the interest rates are higher there.
Your idea, your father's?
My father's. It's all documented. He wanted as many funds as possible funneled through the foundation.
I see. So that if the Webley companies go under, the money from the Webley Foundation can't be touched.
Well, that's the way it goes on the corporate battlefields. There's nothing illegal about it.
Unless a conspiracy to defraud the bank can be proved.
Well, you'll have to admit that's not likely, since the conspiracy, if it did exist, did so solely in the mind of my father. He's dead.
Oh, what is the money invested in?
Condominiums in Caracas.
In Caracas. How nice. See you, Walter.
Sergeant.
Enright, what do you make of it?
Well, sir, if he knew his father's conglomerate was collapsing, and he wanted to grab some money off of a sinking ship, but his father found out about it, that certainly is a motive, sir.
That would mean he'd have to stash the money in South America instead of investing it. I'll see what I can find out. I'll call somebody in Caracas.
Commissioner, what if it's invested properly, like Walter says?
That would mean Astroff remains #1 on our list.
Mrs. McMillan, I got a special delivery letter from Ilya yesterday.
Where is he?
I believe he's still in the city. He heard that you were looking for him, and he asked me to talk to you.
Teddy should give himself up.
I think he may have that in mind, actually. He wants to see your husband tonight at Borovich's restaurant.
He wants to see Mac?
At midnight. He will see that the front door is left unlocked. I suppose he's afraid that the police themselves might just start shooting. Mrs. McMillan, maybe...
Ted, you don't think that Ilya killed Ewing, do you?
I have tried for years to persuade tennis fans that Ilya's outbursts are part of the promotion. But they are, I'm afraid, the real thing. And when a grown man like that has tantrums, well, somebody can get killed.
Hi, Mac.
Hi. Walter gets more charming every day.
What does it say?
Mildred?
Yes.
It's not Mildred.
Well, it's not Mata Hari, if that's what you're thinking.
No, I wasn't thinking that.
Don't you like it, Mac?
Well, I can't see your face.
That's okay. I can't see yours either.
Listen to this. Does the commissioner seek sensational mileage out of the Webley name in his bid to become the next governor?
Governor? I didn't know you wanted to be governor.
You didn't, so... Why, Mac, I thought you told Sergeant Enright everything.
Well, not everything, Sally. It isn't that I want to be governor. It's just that Sally wants to be first lady.
Let me see the... Signed Walter Webley. I'm going to speak to Sarah Jukes about this. Can I have this?
With pleasure. Was that really Mildred?
I don't know. It sounded like her.
Charlie, you look like you have tired blood. Is that Diet or Rachel?
Rachel. She moves around an awful lot, sir. In fact, I think she's preparing to meet with Astroff.
What makes you think that?
She picked up a renewed passport today.
Where is she now?
Back at her apartment.
Anyone on stakeout?
Yeah, I got a relief man till morning. I can sure use the sleep.
Yeah, well, you better get as much as you can.
Thanks for the coffee.
You're welcome, Sergeant. Good night.
I have a hunch Rachel's going to be much more active.
You know, Commissioner, this whole case is beginning to get very strange.
It's been strange from the beginning.
Are you really going to run for governor?
Well, Charlie, if the people insist, I have no choice. Now for a nice, quiet evening at home. Where shall we start?
I think you might want to start by reading this.
What took you so long?
Well, I wanted to wait for Sergeant Enright to leave.
You're not thinking of going there without me.
Oh, no. I've been adequately warned.
Are you sure this is on the up and up?
Well, if it isn't, why would Ilya want to see you?
Door locked?
Mac, maybe we should.
If anything goes wrong, call Enright.
You think you're gonna need that gun?
I hope not.
Ilya?
Get me Sergeant Enright. Oh, Mac.
Do you know how much it hurts to be hit over the head with whatever it was I was hit over the head with? most unredeeming experience of all time.
It's all my fault.
Your fault.
Well, I was wrong about Elia. We should have called the police.
I am the police.
Commissioner, it's not the same thing. Hi, Sergeant.
Commissioner? How you feeling?
My head hurts.
His head hurts.
I'm also getting an echo.
Well, at least you got your man.
My man?
His man?
There it is again.
Astroff, sir.
What are you talking about?
Well, we also found his body in the restaurant. You shot him.
No, I didn't.
Well, I'm afraid you did, sir. The bullet was fired from your gun at a very close range.
I didn't shoot anybody.
Well, I had a hard time believing it, sir, but it was your bullet in Elia's body, and there were no other wounds.
All right. Somebody hit me over the head, took my gun, and shot him.
Who, Mac?
I don't know.
You know, sir, downtown, everybody thinks this is all over. They've taken surveillance off of everybody. So I'd better gear it up again.
No, the case is officially closed. Leave it that way.
What about unofficially, sir?
Do you think you could keep an eye on Rachel?
What? Yes, I can. I've learned my lesson, sir. Believe me, she won't suspect a thing.
You don't think that Rachel killed Ewing, do you, Mac?
No, she couldn't have. At least not alone. But she might lead us to whoever did it. Who took that call from Caparini?
Halliday, down at the North Beach District.
See if we can get him over here.
Third District, Sergeant Halliday.
Halliday. This is Camparini.
Yeah, Paul, what is it?
My place. He hit me. The tennis guy.
Hey, Camparini, you still there? We're on our way. Camparini!
Astroff.
Are you sure that voice was Camparini's?
Well, sir, when I was on street patrol, I got to know him pretty well. I thought I recognized his voice when I answered the call, but, you know, it's so whispery and so gasping. No, sir, I cannot state positively, Commissioner.
What time did the call come in?
3:30 p.m. on the 7th.
If Camparini were already dead when he supposedly telephoned you, that could explain why there were no fingerprints on the telephone.
Mac, I'm getting confused.
Well, what if somebody killed Camparini, then telephoned the police pretending he was Camparini?
Ah, someone who wanted you to think that Elia was the killer.
Right. And who wanted us to think that Elia was still on the run. But what if Elia were already dead?
Mac, he was at Borovich's last night.
His body was.
Mac, if Elia had been dead that long, the coroner would have spotted it last night.
Not if it were carefully preserved.
There'd still be two wounds, the original and the one from your gun.
Not if the killer took my gun and shot him in exactly the same place.
Oh. Back to the question of preserving the body.
How often does Mildred go to the market?
I don't know, once a week. Once every 2 weeks, why?
And what does she do with the meat that she doesn't cook right away?
Well, she puts it in the Ewing's freezer.
Thank you, Halliday. You've been of great help.
Thank you, sir.
We're shutting it down next week, as soon as the last of the beef is shipped.
Be sure and get as many blood samples as possible.
We're doing that now, sir.
What happened to your new hairdo?
Oh, I'm too familiar to be distant.
Oh. Is this steak or is it a kangaroo or something?
Well, if it's kangaroo, I'm swearing out a warrant against the butcher.
I'll get it. You eat the kangaroo. McMillan residence.
She used to just say hello.
I think that's the lingering influence of Sarah Jukes.
Oh, yeah.
It's the lab. I'll tell them to call
I'll
back,
take it.
okay?
No, I'll take it. Yeah. Oh, only one, huh? All right. Thank you.
What was that?
They found human blood in the meat freezer.
Was it Ilya's?
It's the same type.
Should never have gotten mixed up with Rachel at all. It's what Sarah's been saying from the beginning.
All this time he was supposedly on the run. He was hanging like a side of beef in the meat freezer.
Why'd they stash him away in there?
To preserve the body.
Ugh.
Then bringing it out at the proper time so the police could find their fugitive.
Since you were getting close, you were the ideal candidate to be set up to shoot Ilya.
Correct. Whoever did it naturally assumed I would close the case.
Then the same person that killed Ewing also killed Ilya.
Probably.
Mac, do you think that Rachel and Walter...
I'm expecting a long-distance phone call.
Yeah, hello.
So much for Sarah Jukes.
Who do we know in Caracas?
That's the phone call. I'll take it. Hello? Yes. Yes, this is he. No, operator, I want to talk to the president of the Venezuela National Bank. Yes, I'll wait. Hello, Senor Presidente. Yes, did you find the information I wanted? Oh, you did? Then it is a joint bank account. That's what I thought. Yes, well, thank you. Muchas gracias. Yes, I should. Yes. Yes, I will, sir. Thank you. Goodbye.
You should what?
Learn to speak Spanish. A $10 million A $10 million joint bank account registered to the Silverio Gonzalez Land Development Company, payable to Mr. and or Mrs. Silverio Gonzalez.
Silverio Gonzalez. That's the worker that went back to South America, isn't it?
The worker who allegedly went back to South America.
Car 36.
3-6, and right here.
Sergeant, I have the commissioner on the line. I'm patching him through.
Go ahead.
Charlie?
Yes, sir.
Where are you?
Well, I'm right outside the mansion, sir. Rachel Webley drove onto the grounds about 40 minutes ago.
I'm coming right now, Sergeant. Call me on the car phone if she leaves.
Yes, sir. 10-4.
What's funny?
I always feel silly, sir, when I say 10-4.
How about 5-2?
Goodbye, sir. 5-2.
Are you here? What is it?
Huh?
What is it?
It's all coming together.
You're kidding. Tell me.
Can't. Gotta run.
You're gonna run? Leave me in the dark?
Mm-hmm.
Mac, take me in the car. Explain it to me on the way.
No chance.
Mac!
N-O.
Commissioner?
And I'm not taking you either.
I was just going to say, when you're right, you're right.
Why, thank you, Mildred. And you're a wise, rational, mature woman. Tell you later.
You're a wise, rational, mature woman. You're a wise, rational, mature fink.
Commissioner.
Evening, Clifford. Mrs.
Good
Webley
evening.
in?
No, sir. You just missed her. Her car is gone.
Oh. Oh, well, thank you.
You're quite welcome. Good evening.
Evening. The butler says she's left.
Impossible. I would have seen her go.
Only if she used the front gates. There's 1,000 acres here. She could have used the service road. Let's go.
There. Isn't that her car?
Yes, sir, but what's it doing at the crypt?
Well, let's find out.
Ooh, I was afraid of that.
Afraid it was open?
No, that it would creak. It scares the hell out of me, if you must know, sir.
Me too.
What is it? Well, that's impossible, sir. Those lions. I mean, he's supposed to be in there or what's ever left of him. Commissioner, an airplane? Private airstrip.
I'll drive.
Is there any law on a person going up in their own airplane?
No, but there's a law of murdering a person.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We just found Ewing's body. I know all about the money in Caracas, the investments in the Severio Gonzalez Development Corporation in both your names. Walter delivered it for you, and he didn't even know anything about it, did he?
No.
Put the gun away.
Ewing used him the way he used everybody.
Commissioner, I still don't understand about Mr. Webley's body in the crypt.
He was alive the whole time. That is, until a few minutes ago. He persuaded Silverio Gonzalez to impersonate him, didn't he?
Yes. He dressed Silverio up in his own clothes and sat him behind the desk in the library.
And killed him. Then when Astroff came in, he saw him slumped over in the chair, dead, and he panicked. But he didn't get very far. Who shot him, Rachel? You?
Ewing. He planned the whole thing.
He certainly underestimated you. He never would have guessed you'd have killed him.
I could have had all of it. All $10 million. Plus my freedom.
Pretty Rachel. Let's go.
Well, who sold those vases to the antique dealer?
Rachel. Then Ewing killed him and Call the police.
Why? She had us on a wild goose chase the whole time, sir.
It was his idea to make us think that she was in on it with Astroff.
Well, who tried to run you off the cliff?
Ewing. I didn't think Astroff killed the antique dealer. I told that to Rachel. She told it to Ewing, and he tried to kill me.
Now, the only thing I don't understand, sir, is about the money.
He invested it in the Silverio Gonzalez Development Company. Then, having assumed the identity of Gonzalez, he could pull out of Caracas anytime he wanted with the money and Rachel and live happily ever after.
Oh.
Got that?
No.
Oh.
But I'll sleep on it, sir.
We'll go over to get reported.
Okay. Thanks for the coffee, sir.
You're welcome.
Oh, Commissioner? Do you really think I'm cute?
Rachel told me to tell you.
Oh. Good night.
Good night.
Hey, Harvey, is anybody looking for a game?
Not that I know of, Mrs. McMillan.
Oh, do you want to play?
Me? I can't stand the game.
Sally,
Mac, I didn't expect to see you. Why don't you change? We can play.
I have a gift for you. Granted, he might not be a tall, green-eyed Romeo, but at least he can help you with your backhand.
Oh. Bobby Riggs?
Who'd you expect? Billie Jean King?
Oh, you guys.
আব্বা আম্মা যদি তোর ছোটকালে জানতো তোর হাইটের লগে তোর গাদামির হাইটটা একটু বাড়বো, তাহলে নিজ দিয়ে এমনিতেই 6 ইঞ্চি কেটে দিত, তোর আর গাদামি বাড়তো। শুন, আব্বা আম্মা যা বলে তা কর, বিয়েটা কর, আর আমার রাস্তাটা একটু ক্লিয়ারটা কর।
ও, আমি তোমার পথের কাটা না? তোরা কেউ চাস না যে আমি পড়াশোনা করে এই নিজের পায়ে দাঁড়াই?
তুই তো নিজের পায়ে দাঁড়াস নাই, তুই তো আমার কাঁধের উপর ভর করে দাঁড়ায় আসছিস। এই, আসো। এই কি তোরা সকালবেলা এরকম কাঁদতেছিস কেন? আব্বাও কাঁদতেছে, আম্মাও কাঁদতেছে। কিছু আম্মা কি সকালবেলা কি সিরিয়াল দেখা শুরু করছে? তাহলে কিছু চুরি হয়েছে বাসায়? কেউ মারা গেছে? কেউ কি মরার আগে হসপিটালে অ্যাডমিট হয়েছে? তাহলে কি হয়েছে? সবাই এরকম আয়োজন করে কাঁদতেছে কেন?
বাবা মা বলতেছে আমার নাকি পড়াশোনার দরকার নাই, ধান থাকলে নাকি ধানের মাঝে চিটাও থাকে, আমি নাকি চিটা।
হ্যাঁ, তাহলে তো ঠিকই বলছে। আর তুই কখনো দেখছো আব্বা আম্মা পোলাপানের সাথে মিথ্যা কথা বলে?
ভাই কি ওই কথা কইছে? কইছে আমার 1 মাসের মধ্যে বিয়ে করা লাগবে, বিয়ে করে 9 মাসের মধ্যে বাচ্চা পয়দা দেওয়া লাগবে।
মাত্র 9 মাস টাইম দিছে? তুই তো নির্ঘাত ফেল করবি। মানে তোর যে পড়াশোনার কন্ডিশন, তুই 9 মাসের সাথে তোর আরো মিনিমাম 4 মাস টাইম দেওয়া লাগবে, তারপর যদি 12। আচ্ছা, দোকানদাররা অবশ্য নতুন যারা বিয়ে করে তাকে চেয়ার দিকে তাকায় থাকে 2 পয়সা ইনকামের জন্য। তোর দিয়ে সেটাও হবে না, তুই চিন্তা বাদ। হ্যাঁ বল।
তুইও?
কি?
আমি আগে সন্দেহ করছিলাম তুই আমার মায়ের পেটের ভাই না। মায়ের পেটের ভাই হলে তুই এরকম করে কথা বলতে পারতি না। তোর আমার না কোনো মিল নাই, না আছে স্বভাবের মিল, না আছে চরিত্রের মিল, না আছে তোর এই যে চেহারার মিল, গায়ের কালারের মিল, কোনো কিছু মিল নাই। বাইকটা
শোন, আব্বা আম্মা যদি তোর ছোটকালে জানতো তোর হাইটের লগে তোর গাদামির হাইটটা একটু বাড়বো, তাহলে নিজ দিয়ে এমনিতেই 6 ইঞ্চি কেটে দিত, তোর আর গাদামি বাড়তো। শুন, আব্বা আম্মা যা বলে তা কর, বিয়েটা কর, আর আমার রাস্তাটা একটু ক্লিয়ারটা কর।
ও, আমি তোমার পথের কাটা না? আমি তোমার জীবনের বাধা? তোর কেউ আমার ভালো চাস না, তোরা কেউ চাস না যে আমি পড়াশোনা করে এই নিজের পায়ে দাঁড়াই।
তুই তো নিজের পায়ে দাঁড়াস নাই, তুই তো আমার কাঁধের উপর ভর করে দাঁড়ায় আসছিস। শোন, আমি তোর ছোট হিসেবে চাই তুই আব্বা আম্মার কথাটা শোন, তুই একটা মাসের মধ্যে বিয়েটা কর, আমি কবজি ডুবায়া তোর বিয়ার কাচ্চি খাবো, বুঝছস? এই আসো।
Mười đẹp này, này mười đẹp này, 300.000 bộ này, còn đẹp không? Mặc đi làm mua này mặc được rồi, mua mặc đi thờ được này. Mẹ ở bên quay video ấy, lộ mặt mẹ vào luôn. Thế nào? Nhìn đó đi.
cho chị Thảo Lộc đắp bằng bé luôn.
Vẫn sim cũ hả bà?
Ừ, vẫn sim cũ. Bao giờ có cái đổi chuyển được sim mới không?
Thế hả?
Đổi cái sang tên chính chủ của bác.
Lúc mà chị về, phải cả chị cả bá cùng lên chứ.
Này cả bá đi lên rồi.
Phải bá phải để kết thúc cái sim của bá. Kết thúc cái lần trước bố con phải cả bố lên mà. Xong chị phải có thẻ nữa, nhưng chị chưa có thẻ sinh viên thôi. Chưa có. Mới học cũng chưa có. Chưa có
sang năm.
Gì sang năm mấy nữa tháng nữa có.
Tặng cái này. Vâng. Có mua gì không? Còn thức ăn không? Tôi lên sau chị Thảo ra điện. đây đây, báo mua cái như này. Thì về nhà là vẫn làm được phải không? Còn chị Thảo về là chị Thảo vẫn làm được phải không? Thì
Cho Thảo có chân quay khác mà.
Hả?
Thảo quay bằng máy ảnh.
Máy gì?
Máy ảnh.
Máy ảnh à?
Có
Thế thì
chân quay
về nhà không quay được.
Không, Thảo có chân quay to hơn. Chân quay dành riêng cho máy ảnh.
Thế bao giờ chị Thảo về là chị Thảo về phát này. Thế thì báo có này báo mang đi giả 200.000.
Yeah.
Báo định làm điện thoại báo một thì một điện thoại báo Khánh suốt ngày lúc 10 giờ đến này làm thất rồi. Ngày nào không 10 giờ đến.
gai của con nhím này nó có những cái phần nó nhọn nhọn thì nó khá là khó, nên là các bạn nhớ là phải cẩn thận khi mà tô nha.
ও তুমি
ডরাইছেন? ডরাবো কেন? মাগের এরকম আটকা মায়া মনে সামনে চলে আসলে তো একটু চিন্তা লাগেই। আর কালকে আবার তোমার মামার সাথে চ্যালেঞ্জ, বললে এসো শেষবার মতো চুল দাঁড়িয়ে আশ্রয় আসতে।
শুনেন, কালকের খেলায় আপনি হারবেন।
বাবা, কনফিডেন্স দেখছো মেয়ে।
যদি না হারছেন তাহলে কিন্তু বললাম এটা দিয়ে আমি আমার হাতে আপনার নাম লিখুন। মানে তো তখনই বুঝবেন যখন এটার দায় আপনার উপর পড়বো। সরেন।
আরে ভাই, নাম লিখবা মানে? কি মুসিবতে বললাম, জিততে না পারে এখন 2 নাম্বারই।
কি করতেছ? এটা কি করলি তুই মামা বলতো? শেষ পর্যন্ত ওই হাবলু মামার কাছে।
সরি বলছি তো, মিস্টেক হয়েছে। আর এটা খেলা না, খেলাতে হার জিত থাকি।
এই কথা তুই বলতেছস? 3 বারের চ্যাম্পিয়ন নিলয় বলতেছে এই কথা, শেষ পর্যন্ত খেলায় হার জিত থাকেই।
হ্যাঁ বলতেছি, এবার হয় না আগামীবার হইব। আর শোন, আমাদের না বয়স বেশি হয়ে গেছে, ঠিক আছে? এখন এটা জুনিয়রদের করা কাম, আমরা অনেক সিনিয়র হয়ে গেছি।
এই দাঁড়া দাঁড়া, জুনিয়র? হ্যাঁ, কোন অ্যাঙ্গেল ওই হাবলু মামার তো জুনিয়র মনে হলো? কত দেখি। এই কথা শোনার পরে ওই হাবলু মামা সানফ্লাওয়ার তেল মাইরা ঠিক ঠিক করে হাসবো। তুই এমন একটা কাজ করছিস মামা, এলাকায় মুখ দেখানোর মতো অবস্থা থাকবো না।
টাকা দিতেছি, একটা কাজ কর, বোরকা কিনা পিন্দা ঘুরতে থাক, ঠিক আছে? এলাকায় মুখ দেখাইতে হইব না।
দাঁড়া দাঁড়া দাঁড়া, আমার মনে হইতেছে কেউ তোরে তাবিজ করছে। তুই কখনো তো এই কথা বলার ছেলে না, কি হয়েছে কত?
কোনো তাবিজ টাবিজ কিছু না। আর শোন, আনোয়ারের রহিম বাবুর ছেড়ে আনতে পাঠাইছিলাম, কই হয়?
ভাই আসসালামু আলাইকুম। ভাই
ওয়ালাইকুম আসসালাম। আনোয়ার কই?
ভাই পাড়ায় কই জানি গেল গা ভাই? কামটা কি হলো ভাই? কালকে গেমটা এটা গেলেন
যাওয়ার হইছে, কাজের কথা আসি। লাইলির পার্টিতে কাচ্চি করে দিব
না ভাই, পারুন না, মাফ করে দেন ভাই। আপনার লেগে আমার জানা আছে, রুমাইয়ের লেগে আমি ভাই কাচ্চি বাচ্চি রাখতে পারবো না ভাই।
কি কর রহিম ভাই? মাথা ঠান্ডা, মাথা ঠান্ডা। তোমাদের ছাড়া হইব না তো বিষয়টা। এমন কাচ্চি খাওয়াই তুইব, মনে করো 7 দিন যাতে কেউ বাথরুম থেকে বাইর না হইতে পারে। বুঝছো না বিষয়টা? পারো না? যাও এবার রেডি করে গিয়া, যাও তাড়াতাড়ি।
একটু বড় খবর হইব।
তোমরা আমগুলোকে বইতা।
আরে আমরা তো খাবোই, আগে আপ্যায়নটা করে নেই। পুরান ঢাকার ট্রেডিশন তো আপ্যায়ন করা, কি মামা?
এই তো দুষ্ট লাইনে আইছো, এরকম লাইনে থাকলে তো কোনো সমস্যা হইতো না। খুব তো কইছিল খেলার কথা, এখন বুঝছো খেলা কি?
এখন একদম ক্লিয়ার মামা। আপনার একটু কাছে দিই। আলু দেই, আলু আলু।
না না আলু না, গোস্ত দাও, গোস্ত দাও।
এই যে গোস্ত দেই।
অনেক মজা হয়েছে। এই লাইলি দাও, লাইলি দাও।
আলু
আলু লো লাইলি লো। তুমি লইবা নি?
খাইতাম মজা তো
তুমি একটু খাও।
সবাই মিলে আমগুলোকে খাইতাম।
আরে খাবো তো, খাবার তো আছে।
লোকে খাও।
আরে মামা খান তো। আছে কিছু লাগলে বললেন কিন্তু।
মজা হয়েছে।
আসলে
না, তুলো গোস্ত দাও।
এইবার লইয়া কয়বার হয়েছে?
ভাই 5 বার।
তোমার এত করে কইছি যে একটু কম কম খাও, মাংনা খাওয়ান পাইলে হুদাই হামাম করে খাও।
দুলা ভাই আমি তো মাগনা খাওয়ান খাই ভাই, আমরা তো বাজেতে জিতছি আর আমি তো পরিমাণ মতোই খাইছি। বিশ্বাস করেন দুলা ভাই, আমি নিশ্চিত ওরা খাওয়ানোর মধ্যে কিছু মিশাইছে। লাইলিও তো পরিমাণ মতো খাইছে, ওরা তো পেট নামছে শুনছি।
হ্যাঁ, মানুষের খায় কাম নাই, তোমার খাওয়ানোর লোকে কিছু মিলাইছে।
ভাই আপনি জানেন না, ওরা অনেক ডেঞ্জারাস, অনেক ডেঞ্জারাস দুলা ভাই। ওরা প্রত্যেকটা ধরে ধরে ফাঁসি দেওয়া উচিত দুলা ভাই। আমি খালি একটু সোজা হয়ে দাঁড়াইলই, তারপর দেখেন আমি রাজপথে নামবো, রাজপথে নামবো, আমি আন্দোলন করবো ওকে ফাঁসির লিগা।
যাও যাও, তুমি তোমার কানে যাও, আমি তোমার লেগে কেড়ে বয়ে থাকো।
আপনি একটু বহান ভাই।
Sợ à. Mình tự giấu đi mà. Hãi vậy. Chết mất. Cô sinh viên. Sợ ấy vì Thảo mày mới dùng kêu. Lý do á? Cái mắt nó thế, dùng máy cảnh hồi trước. Mà dùng thích mà. Ít mắt to, xem gì cũng thích. Dạ, nó to bằng 11 Pro Max, 12 Pro Max chứ bao nhiêu. Cùng một khuôn đi. Sợ à, thôi, chê. Em chê chị á. Thế nhá, không là bỏ ai kém sang đi. Và tự đi đi. Bỏ như rồi, nó nói anh có anh bảo cho. Dùng đi. Dùng tạm đi. Thế nhá. luôn ạ? Cái máy tính con nó bị đầy mấy cái video chớt vào ấy, nó đã ấy đâu, nó bị nhiều quá ấy. Đâu chỉ còn muốn quay luôn ấy, rồi đang hang kiếm tiền hay sao ấy, muốn quay luôn. Để con bảo xem, tại vì đang gần đấy, chị con đang chơi gần đấy. Vâng, ý là đang chơi gần đấy, đang ở đấy. Vâng, để con bảo. Mình đã tô xong màu cam rồi nha. Và tiếp theo thì mình sẽ lấy màu xanh đậm, xanh lá đậm để tô bức tranh nhá. Mình sẽ dùng cả màu vàng để tô phần bụng của chú sóc này nữa nha.